Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the second installment of Coding with Alex. I am your host Alex, and in today's video we are going to be going over the design and architecture of the actual app. So if you guys had missed the first video, this is going to be a Firebase Hooks tutorial for ReactJS. If you guys want to see how the app functions, I advise you guys go check out the first video. It'll be linked below and probably to the side somewhere. But yeah, just as kind of a quick refresher, we did a create React app, deleted a couple things, and then scaffolded out the entire app componentry. So we created the dashboard, home, login, and register components, as well as imported React Router DOM and made all of those components actual routes in our app.js. So in the last video, I talked about how we're going to be talking about the design and the actual scaffolding of our app in this video, which is pretty true. So let's just go ahead and drop right into it. The first thing that we're actually going to be needing to do is something in the app.js file, and it's pretty simple. But first, we actually have to install the library. So like I said before, we're also going to do the same thing that we did for React Router DOM, just yarn add ant-d. That's the styling library that we're going to be using. It's going to blow your minds if you've never heard of it or used the styling library. So we'll just go ahead and add that. And then we're going to be adding one more thing once this one installs. And that is going to be styled components. Styled components, if you guys are again not familiar, is a way to basically write CSS directly in your JavaScript files. It's amazing and something that I like to use for just little tiny styling quirks that I might need. So yeah, like I said, we're going to yarn add styled components. And then we can hop back over to our app.js and we have to import ant-d, the thing that we just installed. So we're going to import ant-d from ant-d and then dist and then ant-d.css. And we want to do this in our app.js so that it encompasses the rest of our app. It'll be in dashboard, home, login, and register without us actually having the need to import it in each of those files. Okay, so now that that is done, we're actually going to, like I said, navigate over to home. So we'll basically scaffold out the general nature of this app. So import React from React. And then we're going to import button, card, and I think that's what we'll start with. Goodness. Alrighty. Now that we have that done, we just have to create our functional component. So const home equals props, and then our actual app, we're just going to return 2 divs for right now, or just 1 div, I'm sorry. Do it just like that. The next thing that we're going to want to do is actually create the styled component container. So we're going to do something a little more organizational. And that's in the SRC, we're going to create another folder called styles. And in that styles folder, we're going to create a styled.js. In this styled.js folder, we're going to import styled from styled components. And then in this style.js folder, we want to essentially export an entire CSS class. So we're just going to export const container, and then that's just going to be equal to style.div tick marks. I don't actually know the real name for that. And then this is just going to be the underlying container for our entire app. So it's going to be pretty basic. Let's just do a width of auto on that. A height of 100 view height. Display flex flow row. Justify content center. And then align items center. Like I said, just a base container for the entire app that we can use throughout the app since we did it this way. Just a little more organized and makes for quicker and more reusable code. So we're going to go back to the home.js and we're going to actually import that container that we just created. So if we go back to home, and right in here, we can also import container. There we go. And now that we have a container, we actually want to, instead of these divs right here, return the container. So that's going to be our underlying tag in class. It's going to be that container that we just created. And then within the container, let's go ahead and create a card from Ant Design that we imported earlier. So we'll just create a card. And within that card, it has a couple of attributes that we can create. So let's create a title, Firebase Hooks tutorial, exclamation point. And it can also have a style attribute. So let's go ahead and add that right here and do some quick inline styling. It's going to be, again, pretty basic, so that's why I'm okay with doing it here. Alrighty. Actually, that has to be a comma too, not a semicolon. So we have this container, which we just created right here, of just a basic container. And then we also are using the card that we imported from Ant Design. And I guess we could take a look at what this card actually is. It's like it sounds, if you guys have ever used like Google products, you mostly know that they also like to push cards in card view kind of thing. So it's like this. This is the title, and then this is the card content, obviously, and there's different sizes and attributes that we can call on the card tag. You can do it with pictures. This is all Ant Design. They have an entirely built out styling system that makes it pretty much a waste of time, in my opinion, to actually create your components from scratch without at least just using these as the underlying and customizing to your need. But yeah, let's see what we have so far. So we have the container, we have the card, and then within the card, we actually want to return a couple of things. We want to return, I guess, 3 buttons, and those buttons would be for the register, the login, and the dashboard. So let's go ahead and create that. We're going to also, again, this actually has to be within the card. So we're going to be using this button up here. So it has to be capital B, not just the normal. And then, like I also said, we're going to be having a couple attributes that we're going to call on this button. So we're going to do type primary. We're going to make it ghost. We are also going to do some quick inline styling. Set the width to 100% and just do margin bottom 10 pixels. That'll do it for the inline styling. And then we also want to do an on click. So once these buttons are actually clicked, we want them to do something. So for right now, let's have each of them. I guess we could build them out right now. We could do it. It just would break after we click them. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll save us some time in the end. So let's do on click, and then we're going to create a function within the on click to run. And we're going to use the props.history. And we're going to use the push method to push us to the register page. Okay, cool. So we have this button here with some inline styling. We have it doing the ghost attribute, which is basically just going to make it clear and transparent. And then we have type primary, which is the color. So now all we need to do is add some text to the button. And this, of course, is going to be our register button. Okay, so like I said before, we're going to need 3 buttons. So we can go ahead and copy this one and paste it and paste it one more time and just make some quick adjustments here. So we're going to keep all of the primary and ghosting attributes the same, as well as the styling, except on the last button where you're going to remove this margin bottom style attribute. And yeah, then just make the obvious necessary changes. So on this last button here, we're going to call this one the dashboard. And push it to the dashboard page. That should be the only thing that we have to change on that one. And then this middle one, the second one, we are going to have that be our login button. Push it to the login page and change the text. 2 pretty simple things, but I mean, look where we started at the beginning of this video, guys. This file had nothing in it, and now we have all of this code. It's quite impressive, if you ask me. But yeah, so we got those things done. We have the on clicks and the register button, and we're going to be basically building the other pages in a pretty similar way to this. But I think that this is going to be a pretty good ending point for this video. There's just one other thing we have to do. So in this, here's our actual functional component. We're just going to export default home. Okay, cool. So with this done, we should be able to actually start up our app. I don't see any reasons not to. So we'll go ahead and run yarn start. Give it a little bit of time. Is there anything I could go over in the meantime? Container is not exported from styled, but it appears that it is. Gotta watch those spelling mistakes. And then, yeah, of course, just go ahead and change these as well. I actually think it's going to cause an issue. So let's go ahead and, sorry guys, make them capital again in home. And then in styled, we're going to just go ahead and make this a capital. Should have done this to begin with, but oh well. Cool. That's what it's supposed to look like. Everything seems to be working as intended. Like I said, if we click these, they do work. They just don't go to anything. Yeah, guys, cool. Like I said, I think this is going to be a great ending point. In the next video, we are going to be creating the register page, which is going to be a form. We're going to be using that form to also create the login page, since it's pretty simple, just a few less fields, so it's actually easier. But yeah, look out for that next video. It's probably already to your right. Right of this video. There should be the next tutorial, so hope to see you then.